Hello, everybody. It's great to be here one more time today. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm the CEO, president, founder of GSD, Get You Done Venture Studios, a premier AI and quantum venture studio located in the heart of Silicon Valley. I'm a 17-time serial entrepreneur with several unicorns under the belt. I was on the original management team at Click Software, which was sold to Salesforce for $1.35 billion. Also, Eva.ai, your virtual assistant, one of the first generative AI companies, pre-transformer models. We believe at GSD that intellectual capacity is evenly spread around the world, but opportunities are not. And today I'd like to talk to Yossi Abraham, who's the CEO of Zappix, and we're going to get into it with him. And we're talking about AI and customer engagement. Hi, Yossi.
Hi there, Gary. How are you?
Good. So tell me a little bit about your journey. You went to, if I recall, Tel Aviv University. So how in the world where are you today? You're on the East Coast somewhere. It looks like where I grew up in Pennsylvania, kind of that kind of grayish weather. Are you in Boston area?
Yeah. I'm in the Boston area. Yeah, today is grayish. Tomorrow is going to be 90 degrees. So that's the New England weather for you. So
yeah. It's funny because it's so beautiful there in the summertime.
Yes.
And going up the coast, up to Gloucester, and that actually we had an office in Boston area, but it is a beautiful place in the summer for me, anyhow, in the summertime.
Yes. So I did start in Israel. I'm Israeli, and about 22 years ago, relocated from Israel to London. We lived there for 4 years, my wife and I, and then I was asked to relocate again to the Boston area from the previous company that I worked for, and did several changes throughout my career that moved between different positions, different facets of the organization, and for the last 7-8 years, I'm managing Zappix.
I wanted to talk about something. So I worked for an Israeli company too. Actually, was one of the early first hires, and one of the things we did is we had really good structure in the company. And before this, earlier today, I had Caius from a company called Choicely, who's he's also in the Finnish military, right? Because you're in for your life. But how does that training? Because I know we had a very regimented routine in Click Software. How does that training impact your management style? Does it help? Does it hurt?
I think it helps a lot. First of all, you're in a disciplined organization from when you're 18 years old, and for 3 to 6 years or whatever length of service that you've done. The other thing is that you're maturing a lot during that time. I was also an officer. I commanded around 120 soldiers when I was 22 years old. So I learned management style, and really it was a formative time for me. And many of the leadership capabilities that I have up until today were really formed during that time.
So can you briefly share, what inspired you to lead Zappix? What made you decide that this is the company? I know you were at Converse, if I recall.
Yes.
And what made you decide? What did you say? Oh, one day wake up and say, oh, this is the kind of company I want to lead. And what led to that position?
So I worked for relatively large companies before. Converse was 7,000 people when I joined it, and then I worked at Excelicom, which were around 600 to 700, and a lot of communication, 400, 500, publicly traded, and so on. And I've done multiple different roles, from project management, service management, moved to the business side, sales, marketing, partnerships, general management. And when a friend of mine introduced me to the owner of Zappix, the company was about 3 employees, pre-revenue, but I really loved the technology that they had, and I have a passion for everything around customer experience. So it's really tying up that technology with the customer experience domain that I found that it can be a great place for me to come in and lead that company.
So Zappix emphasizes transforming customer experiences through AI. How do you really define what is the core mission?
So the core mission is really, for us, is when we're looking at any customer interaction, there's inbound and outbound. Inbound interactions coming in, a lot of it is still coming through voice channels and digital interactions. And our goal there is to help the organizations deflect as much as we can from humans into self-service. And a lot of those interactions can be very, very simple, like my status of an order, I want to initiate a return, I want to submit a claim, I want to complete a payment. You don't really need a human being to do that. And this is where in the inbound, we really help, and very successfully, we help deflect a lot of those calls to self-service. And then in the outbound, it's a really comprehensive digital intelligent outreach platform that we build for multi-touch, omni-channel cadences of outreach, text, email, WhatsApp, voice calls, and so on. And we do that in several industries very, very successfully to improve the engagement and the proactive engagement with your consumers, residents, members, patients, and so on.
So what are some of the common misconceptions about AI and customer experiences?
I think AI will make a dramatic impact in the next 3 to 5 years. There is still a lot of hesitancy in implementing that enterprise-wide. We see today what I call pilotitis, a lot of pilots and pilots and pilots, but no firm decision to, okay, now we're going to implement it enterprise-wide. We still need to overcome, as an industry, compliance, regulation, privacy, and so on. But the potential is there. And I think there is now this gap between what is implementable versus what the vendors can provide. And implementable is not from the vendor side, it's more from the enterprises side, from the organization side. What can they implement today based on, again, their compliance, their legal team, and so on. And also, we need to remember, they're still working with legacy systems in the back end that you still need data to feed AI. And so I believe there is an 18 to 24 month period now, which is this gap. And we are, even as a small company, we are trying to implement our RPA and several elements of AI today, which are feasible and applicable for organizations today, while we'll build the roadmap for the future.
So if you look at it, how do you uniquely leverage AI to enhance the customer interactions compared to the current methods that we have today? How do you do it? And why? What are your competitive advantages?
So we really focus on completing the entire interaction, the entire user journey end to end. So we, together with our clients, I love the Pareto principle for everything we do. So we choose those 3 to 5 main use cases that bring the highest amount of value, and we tackle them end to end using automation, using AI, in order to provide the best experience for the end user, in order to receive and to get the best outcome for the organization. So we're not trying to boil the ocean and try to cover 200 different use cases, but let's tackle those. And we do that very, very well, with very high success rate of containing the call and very high satisfaction, both for the end user, but also for the organization.
You've got extensive experience, Yossi, in IT and telecom. What are the critical success factors in integrating AI into legacy industries? Because there's a lot of resistance, a lot of not knowing, and there's a lot of BS out there too. They're saying that this is really AI when it's just APIs and ChatGPT, right?
So I think, first of all, to be really open and frank, like I mentioned in the last several minutes multiple times, where I said RPA and automation, because that's still a major part of what we're doing. And I think you also need to take a phased approach. And organizations are not ready to have an full enterprise implementation. So take a phased approach. Take those use cases for real AI that are ripe today for today. Implement them, build the trust, build the confidence, learn the ecosystem in order to succeed with AI, while you continue to push what really works, which is still workflow automation, full user journey automation with APIs. AI will still need to use APIs if you need to go and retrieve information and push information to the backend systems. So find that middle ground between what is working today and how do you start to build in a phased approach the future.
What advice would you give organizations looking to adopt AI to boost their customer experience, but they don't know where to start? So what would you tell them?
So first of all, define your problems. What are you trying to achieve? And I think that many organizations today are trying a lot of things without just sit down, analyze what do we really want to achieve from it. So understand the efficiencies that you want to drive. Understand the challenges. Where do you have shortage? Many organizations are really suffering from shortage of employees in critical departments like access centers in hospitals. They don't have enough people to schedule appointments. So what is the problem you're trying to solve? And now, okay, what technologies out there can solve that? I would also say don't puzzle yourself. With AI is a solution for everything. Probably not. Probably not. When you understand your problem, you can really define a good technology-based solution that can be AI, that can be automation, that can be something else. So first of all, understanding the problem.
How do you see AI reshaping customer service over the next 5 years?
It's a great question, and many people are discussing it, and I've attended several forums around that specifically. I think there is a couple of areas that it will impact. One, everybody's talking about reducing workforce and so on. That's a major impact that will happen, but it will happen predominantly for those mundane, repetitive use cases. I think it also has a unique opportunity for hyper-personalization in AI.
Mm-hmm.
And because now when I'm approaching a company with vast information about me from the past, they can really provide a very personalized experience there. There is also proactive services. So looking at it, I'm doing customer service. I've done customer service 30 years ago, and I always believed in proactive services. So when you really identify a problem that is about to happen, you inform the consumer, the end consumer about it. That really is is a game changer for them, and you can do that with a lot of big data and analysis and so on. So there are multiple areas that AI can start to impact, and again, the question is, what are the problems you're trying to solve?
So there's specific industries out there that, from my opinion, that could use this. But what do you see? Are there specific industries or markets where you see significant untapped potential for AI-driven engagement? Or, if you look at what are the top three, we could say, like right now, from my perspective, we use these efficiencies, it's optimization, hyper-personalization, omni-channel engines to be able to solve a lot of our challenges. But what three do you think right now are really ripe for it and targets?
So we're focusing a lot on the healthcare industry. The
Mm-hmm.
healthcare industry is suffering from multiple different challenges today. One is a financial challenge, the other one is a workforce challenge, both clinical workforce and administrative workforce. So that's an area that we're putting a lot of focus on in order to support our healthcare clients and partners, really provide the best care they can do to their patients. And we do that
Mm-hmm.
with both helping them schedule more appointments, basically increase the throughput of patients coming through their doors, book more appointments. How can you book more appointments more efficiently in an optimized manner using proactive digital outreach to do that? But also, we have a very successful no-show reduction service, which we are sending proactive digital visual reminders and instructions before certain procedures, appointments, and so on. And that reduces no-shows for healthcare providers by over 50%. So it's really a combination of how can we help them increase the number of patients they're seeing while doing it in a much more efficient and optimized manner. So healthcare is one. I also believe that the healthcare insurance, the payer side, there's a lot of optimization that can be done there, both in the contact center and in the outreach that they are doing. And the third area is really those business process outsourcers, those large contact center outsourcers that
Mhm.
we work with several of them, that they cannot continue with the business model of just selling seats anymore. So we are really helping them being the forefront of the digital tools and services they can provide to their end users, to really become like intelligent virtual agents, an intelligent virtual agent that can help them supplement and augment their humans with virtual agents.
It's interesting because I have a couple of concierge doctors, and I was with one of them, and he told me in his private life, previous life, that they only had 8 minutes to see a patient.
Wow.
And so you can funnel a lot of appointments in, but I really think it's an end-to-end challenge, right? Um, Last year, I used AI to build a anti-cancer vaccine for my dog, and I'm not a doctor, but I know how to use multi-agent large language models to do things and solve problems, and I do all the time. Those kind of challenges from the front end of this to the appointment to really back end to the service. So somebody's got to tie it all together. This medical infobesity problem that we have needs to be solved from the front to the back. And that opportunity, whoever does that nails it, right? So one of my the companies in GSD's Cerebro out of Denmark, that company can refine images and make them, 100x better than what they are today. And what does that do? That makes the opinion of the doctor better. And oh, by the way, it also gives you expert advice of what the doctor should be looking at and what's important, right? Instead of just one, you have thousands of opinions on it from the best hospitals in the world. And so those kind of things, having an integrated approach, you're right. It's hyper personalization on the front end. It's a throughput and optimizing for no shows, but then it's a quality of care coming through.
Yeah,
And we better fix it sooner than later because healthcare costs are too much.
absolutely.
So listen, we're coming up to the end of the show. I wanted to get down through. I have a couple more questions. Tell me a little bit about your visual IVR technology and what does it offer companies and what traditional IVR cannot?
So the company started as a visual IVR company. Visual IVR is basically the having when you call into any contact center and you have that the IVR is that system that has a tree for this press one, for that press two. So we really shifted all of that into a visual interface. Everybody has a mobile phone, and we deflect that voice call into a visual, digital, easy, seamless experience for the end user to solve the reason they were calling in. And since then, we expanded the portfolio to provide a full digital engagement platform, both from with our intelligent outreach, the self-service, and agent assist tools to provide a very comprehensive and efficient platform for our clients to handle all of those interactions with our end users. So yeah, we're a leading provider for visual IVR, and since then we expanded our portfolio.
You've openly shared your personal journey raising a son with autism. How's this influenced your leadership style and your approach to building teams? Does it give you
Uh,
more compassion, Yossi? I'm a clinical psychologist, by the way. So,
Absolutely. So my son is now 16. He has severe autism. He's the joy of my life, and he's changed me. He's changed me. I'm much more empathetic to many people. I want to surround myself with good, positive people, and and it's also really putting yourselves in the shoes of others all the time, and not assuming anything, especially with autism, that you cannot really see many times anything visible, and many people just assume different things. So it profoundly changed me as a human being and as a person, and he is the joy of my life. This young boy.
you said something interesting. How did it change you in terms of empathy and compassion? Because the reason I'm saying this, that's one of the things that's really missing in the current AI models out there is empathy and compassion. They're pragmatic, but I don't know. I've written about 50 articles about this, and it's really important to me is that we better have a human touch like your grandmother that loves you and cares about you, makes your matzo ball soup or, you know, So, and knows how to take care of you, right? And loves you. When you went through with your son, when so it's changed your leadership style with your employees. It's changed your outlook in life. Does it made you more tolerant, if you will, in terms of uh, folks and um, yeah, it's interesting because a lot of leaders don't have that, right? And when I talked to I had a four-star admiral, the former number 2 guy in the U.S. military, and he was on my show, and we were talking about it, and he said that compassion is really important because if people know you care about them, right, they care about you.
Yeah, and it all starts with the people, and um, I think the way it changed me a lot is I've become much more tolerant, as you said, but much more empathetic to other people, and I'm trying to find the positives side in everybody, and it's much more in a constructive, in a mentorship kind of leadership, and really understanding that I'm trying to better their lives all the time. And so we are as a family surrounded with angels, with amazing people that support my kid, my son, and I want to give back to society, to the company, to other people that are surrounding us. So yes.
It's fantastic. Listen, we're coming to the top of the show. Closing thoughts, and how do people get a hold of you?
So first of all, we're in a very interesting time with AI and automation and everything around us, and it's really going to be an interesting couple of years or 10 years ahead of us. To reach us, go to first of all on Zappix, go to Zappix www.zappix.com, ZAPPIX, and everybody can reach me on LinkedIn, Yossi Abram, and you'll see me there. Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for taking your time. If you want to hang on for a minute after the show, we can talk. We got a couple minutes. And thanks to all of you for joining one more time. GSD presents Top Global Startups. My name is Gary Fowler. I'm your host. Stay happy, stay safe, and stay healthy. And I'll be back again soon with another exciting edition. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.